The grand piano gleamed under the golden lights of the corporate ballroom. The CEO, dressed in an immaculate black tuxedo, smirked as he tapped the microphone. "Anyone here who can play Chopin perfectly," he announced to a hall of wealthy guests, "I'll make them my partner in life, or at least, in this company." The crowd laughed, thinking it was a joke. But in the corner, a janitor, his hands still wet from mopping the marble floor, quietly put down his bucket. His name was Eli Dawson, a man everyone ignored, except for the CEO, Victoria Hale, who now raised an eyebrow as he approached the piano. No one knew that this silent janitor had once been a concert pianist, until tragedy stole his music. And what happened when he touched those keys that night silenced the entire room, including the CEO herself. Chapter 1, The Sound of Dust in Dreams. Eli Dawson had worked in Hale Enterprises for 7 years. Every night after everyone had gone home, he swept through the shimmering glass halls where ideas worth millions were born, but no one ever saw him. He was invisible, a man with calloused hands and tired eyes who moved quietly through the world. He used to dream of music once. Before the accident. Before the night his wife, Clara, died in a car crash on their way to his first concert in New York. He never touched a piano again after that. The sound of Chopin used to mean love, now it meant loss. Victoria Hale, the CEO, was everything he wasn't: sharp, young, confident, with a voice that could command silence in any room. She built her empire from nothing, but deep down, her success had come at a cost: loneliness. Every Friday, she threw grand dinners for investors and guests, but she always sat at the head of the table alone, her laughter never reaching her eyes. That Friday night was different. The company was celebrating a merger, and someone joked about finding her a husband. Laughing, Victoria raised her glass and said, "If any man in this building can play Chopin's Nocturne in E-flat major perfectly, I'll marry him." The room erupted in laughter. But Eli, who was wiping the floor nearby, froze. That was Clara's favorite piece, the same song he played the night she told him she was pregnant. His heart ached. When Victoria's gaze accidentally met his across the room, she chuckled. "Well, not you, janitor. Unless you can play Chopin too." The crowd laughed again. But Eli didn't. He stared at the piano, the same model as the one he'd sold years ago to pay for Clara's hospital bills. His fingers trembled. Later, when the guests were busy talking, Eli quietly walked to the piano. "Excuse me," he said softly. The laughter faded as everyone turned. "You said, if someone could play Chopin, you'd marry him?" The hall went silent. Victoria smirked, amused. "Yes, janitor. That's what I said. But can you even read music?" Eli didn't answer. He just sat down. His rough fingers touched the ivory keys, hesitant at first, and then, as if awakened from years of silence, they began to dance. The melody rose, tender and haunting. Every note trembled with pain and memory. The sound filled the air like a prayer, like something long buried finally finding peace. People stopped breathing. Even Victoria couldn't look away. The janitor who mopped their floors played Chopin as if the music itself had been written for him. When the final note faded, Eli whispered, "I used to play this for my wife. Until she died." Then he stood up, bowed slightly, and began to leave. Victoria's voice broke the silence. "Wait," she called after him. But Eli just smiled sadly. "Good night, Miss Hale." That night, Victoria couldn't sleep. The melody haunted her. It wasn't just music, it was grief, love, and truth. She realized she had mocked a man who had lived more life than all her boardrooms combined. Broken Heart Chapter 2, The Janitor's Truth and the CEO's Tears. The next morning, Victoria found Eli cleaning the lobby, his headphones on, lost in thought. For a moment, she didn't know how to speak. She, the CEO who never apologized, suddenly felt small. "Mr. Dawson," she began softly. "About last night." He removed his headphones and gave a polite nod. "It's okay, ma'am. I'm used to people laughing." Her heart twisted. "No, it's not okay. You silenced an entire room with your music." "I didn't know." He smiled faintly. No one ever asks a janitor what he used to be. Victoria didn't know why, but she asked him to sit with her in the employee lounge, something she had never done with anyone. Slowly, he told her everything, his life as a pianist, Clara's death, and how he took this job because he couldn't bear to play again. When he finished, Victoria's eyes were wet. "Eli, the way you played last night, it wasn't just Chopin. It was your heart." He looked at her, surprised. "Music's all I ever had left of her. When I play, I feel like she's still listening." That afternoon, Victoria did something no one expected. She gathered the staff and announced, "From today, Mr. Dawson will be our new Director of Employee Wellness and Music Programs." The crowd gasped. "He'll use music to heal people like he healed me last night." Weeks later, Victoria organized a charity concert to raise funds for children's hospitals. On stage, Eli played Chopin again, and this time, when he finished, Victoria walked up to him, holding a single white rose. The audience fell silent. She smiled, eyes glistening. "I said I'd marry the man who could play Chopin perfectly. But what I really meant was, I'd marry the man whose heart could speak through music." Eli froze. "Miss Hale." "Victoria," she whispered. "And yes, I'm serious." The applause that followed was thunderous. But in that moment, Eli didn't hear it. All he heard was the faint echo of Clara's voice in his heart, "Keep playing." He smiled through tears. "Then I'll play, Victoria. For as long as music lives in me." And as the final note of Chopin filled the air once again, it wasn't just a song anymore, it was a promise.